Hi guys, my name's Tatiana Medintseva and you are on my crochet channel. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, be sure to subscribe. Here you will find many interesting and simple video tutorials on crocheting various toys. In this video I want to show you how you can crochet a pumpkin like this. Also I remind you that I have an Etsy shop Medintseva Toys. There you can purchase this pattern in PDF format. For the pumpkin we will need plush yarn. These are the types of yarn I use. You can use any other plush yarn or other yarn you crochet with. Anyway, the pumpkins will turn out great. Orange color Himalaya Dolphin Baby, number H0316. Brown color for Yarnart Dolce Tail, number 754. Hook number 4 mm. You will also need a regular needle and thread. A needle with a blunt end. Stitch marker, scissors and filler. We will also need a regular but high straight thread to tighten the pumpkin. Thread number 10. Plush yarn is not suitable for tightening a pumpkin, as it can break and nothing will work. We will need to tighten it quite tightly. Therefore, we need a good strong thread that does not break. Thread number 10 does the job perfectly. The diameter of the pumpkin is 12 cm or 5 inches. Let's get started. We make a loop and 2 chain stitches, and in the first chain stitch we make 6 single crochets. The second single crochet, 3, 4, 5, and the last 6 single crochet. Guys, I don't show or teach crocheting in this video. Some who are just starting to crochet ask me and complain that nothing is clear very quickly. I have a separate video in which I show and teach how to make single crochets, decreases and increases. In the upper right corner I will leave a link to this video in the tips for beginners. Watch that video first and then start crocheting toys. Let's return to the pumpkin. 6 single crochets are done. In the second row we make 6 increases. In each stitch there are 2 single crochets. This is the first increase, the second increase, the third increase, the fourth increase, the fifth increase, and the last 6th increase. The second row is done. In the third row we make 1 single crochet and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. At the end of the row there will be 18 single crochets. You can put a marker at the beginning of the row to control yourself. 1 single crochet is made and 1 increase is 2, 3. 1 single crochet is 4 and 1 increase is 5, 6. 7 and 1 increase is 8, 9. 10 and 1 increase is 11, 12. 13 and 1 increase is 14, 15. And the last time 1 single crochet is 16 and 1 increase is 17, 18. Turn it right side out. In the fourth row we make 2 single crochets and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. We can do this 6 times. We will make 6 increases in each row. So in the fourth row we will make 1 increase every 2 single crochets. At the end of the fourth row there will be 24 single crochets. 2 single crochets are made and 1 increase is 3, 4. Again 2 single crochets are 5, 6, and 1 increase is 7, 8. And we do this until the end of the row. The fourth row is ready. In the fifth row, we make 3 single crochets and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. At the end of the row, there will be 30 single crochets. 3 single crochets are made and 1 increase is the first time. Again, 3 single crochets are made and 1 increase is the second time. And we continue to do this until the end of the row. The fifth row is done. In the sixth row, we make 4 single crochets and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. At the end of the row, there will be 36 single crochets. Please note that the increases in each row are located one above the other. Here you can see that the increases are located on top of each other. Everywhere the increases should be one above the other. This is a unique way of checking the correctness of crocheting for beginners. In the seventh row, we make 5 single crochets and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. At the end of the row, there will be 42 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 increase is the first time, and so on until the end of the row. In the 8th row, we make 6 single crochets and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. At the end of the row, there will be 48 single crochets. I made 1 single crochet and put a marker, and continue to crochet the 8th row according to the pattern, 6 single crochets and 1 increase to the end of the row. The 8th row is ready. In the 9th row, we make 7 single crochets and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. At the end of the row, there will be 54 single crochets. I made 1 single crochet again and put the marker, and continue further. The 9th row is ready. Next 10 rows we will crochet without changes. From the 10th to the 19th row inclusive, 54 single crochets in each row. That is, without changes, we make 1 single crochet in each stitch from the 10th to the 19th row inclusive. Again, after the first single crochet, I move the marker, and we crochet 10 rows in a pumpkin without changes. Everything is simple, so we finish it ourselves. This is what the future pumpkin looks like now. 19 rows are made. Starting from the next row, we begin to make decreases. In the 20th row, we make 7 single crochets and 1 decrease, and do this until the end of the row. We can do this 6 times. Next, we will also reduce the size of the pumpkin by making decreases. Just as we made increases in the beginning, now we are also making decreases. I won't show each row, I'll just tell you the crochet pattern. Everyone will do it on your own, since there is nothing complicated here. I repeat, in the 20th row we make 7 single crochets and 1 decrease, and so on until the end of the row. In the 21st row, we make 6 single crochets and 1 decrease. In the 22nd row, we make 5 single crochets and 1 decrease,
and so on until the end of the row.
In the 23rd row, we make 4 single crochets and 1 decrease. In the 24th row, we make 3 single crochets and 1 decrease. In the 25th row, we make 2 single crochets and 1 decrease to the end of the row. In the 26th row, we make 1 single crochet and 1 decrease to the end of the row. That is, in each row we crochet exactly the same as when we made increases. The 27th row finish with decreases. We don't cut the thread at the end. Now we are crocheting these rows ourselves, and then I will show you what we will do next. Once again, I draw your attention. In the 27th row, we end with decreases and do not cut the thread. I almost forgot to say that during the crocheting process we add filler. Form the filler into a ball shape. Be sure to add the filler first and only then finish the 27th row with decreases. So I finished the 27th row with decreases. This is what the pumpkin looks like now. Cut the thread, but leave the end about 50 centimeters, 20 inches. Take a needle with a blunt end and insert our working orange thread into it. We must first pull out and tighten the thread and only then insert it into the needle. Now, with the help of this needle and thread, we will pull together our pumpkin, tightening the beginning and end of crocheting. We insert the needle in the middle where we finished and pull it out at the beginning, also in the middle. We need to get the needle exactly in the middle so that our pumpkin turns out to be the correct shape. Pull out the needle and thread. Using your fingers, press down on the top and bottom of the pumpkin to flatten the pumpkin and give it its characteristic shape. It should look like this bun. We again insert the needle through one stitch, also into the middle. Pull the needle out from the other side. Tighten the thread well and hold the pumpkin with your fingers so that it holds the desired shape. We repeat the operation until the pumpkin holds its shape. Be careful when tightening the thread as plush thread is not very strong and may break. Just be careful and hold the pumpkin with your fingers at the beginning of the tightening. This is what the bun should look like. I show you from all sides. One more time, we thread the thread through the middle of the pumpkin. Always tighten the thread. The thread has already been pulled through the middle of the pumpkin several times. Now we need to finish the tightening. Tie a knot, and then we will make tightening along the outer part of the pumpkin. This is how we will create the shape of our pumpkin on the sides. I don't use a plush thread to tighten the sides of the pumpkin because it's not strong enough. We will need to tighten the thread well on the sides and the plush yarn will immediately break. Here I'm just tying a knot and the plush yarn will immediately break. Therefore, for side tightening we use regular high straight thread. I pull the thread through the middle of the pumpkin one more time to secure it. Tie another knot for reliability. Tighten the thread. Pull the thread through the middle of the pumpkin and cut the other side. Thanks to this, the thread will hide inside and nothing will be visible. Now we will do the side tightenings. We take a regular thick, strong thread. I use thread number 10. This thread is very dense. Cut off the end long enough to make all the side ties. I use a regular needle. You can also try making side tightenings using a needle with a blunt end. This side of the pumpkin will be the top, later the tail will be sewn here. Therefore, we fix the thread on this side. Stretch the needle and thread onto the bottom side, also through the middle of the pumpkin. The thread is long, pull out the entire thread. Now we need to visually divide the pumpkin into sectors, into parts. There are a total of 8 side tightenings in my pumpkin. I show how we do a side tightening. We thread the thread along the outside of the pumpkin from bottom to top. The thread is laid outside. Now we insert the needle on top of the pumpkin and pull it down again to make the second side tightening. Pull out the entire thread and then tighten the thread well to form something like this. To achieve symmetry of the pattern, I make the second tightening opposite. That is, I divide the pumpkin in half. That is, with these two tightenings, the pumpkin is divided in half. Reinsert the needle at the top of the pumpkin and pull it down. Always insert the needle in the middle and hold the pumpkin. Be careful not to prick yourself with the needle. I just injected myself. Tighten the thread well again and make the second side tightening. I also make the third tightening in the middle. That is, I divide the pumpkin in half. Always make sure you lay the thread evenly to ensure a beautiful pumpkin. Reinsert the needle into the middle of the top of the pumpkin. Pull it out from below and tighten the thread well. You can see how hard I'm pulling on the thread. The plush yarn would have broken long ago. Therefore, for side tightenings, we need to use a strong, tense thread. This is me already doing the fourth tightening. You can see that the pumpkin is divided into 4 sectors. Now, each of these 4 sectors also needs to be divided in half. After this, the side tightenings of the pumpkin will be done. I look at the length of my thread and realize that it won't be enough for me. I didn't cut enough. I don't have enough thread. One sector is already completely ready. Now let's finish this second sector. You see, I don't have enough thread. If there is not enough thread, then you need to tighten and fix the thread well now. It is better to cut an even longer thread so as not to stop in the middle of the work. It's better to have thread long enough to make all 8 side tightenings in one go. If you, like me, have run out of thread, then you need to fix it well so that the tightenings you make don't unravel. I tie a knot. This is the kind of beauty I get. Now I'll attach a new thread and continue making side tightenings. New thread is attached. I attached the thread on top in exactly the same way as the first time. We continue to do side tightening in the second sector. Always check and ensure that all parts of the pumpkin are even. A very simple operation. In this way we form all the parts and create the characteristic appearance of the pumpkin. In my pumpkin I make 8 side tightenings and accordingly it has 8 parts. You can also make 6 side parts. I think it will also be beautiful. By the way, a real pumpkin most often has 10 side parts. Therefore, it is your imagination and desire how many side tightenings to make in your toy. I just have to do the tightening in the last 4th sector. Each time we pull the thread into the middle of the pumpkin. Tighten the thread one last time. If you don't really like a certain sector, you can make the tightening for the second time and tighten the thread more tightly. I want to make one more tightening in my pumpkin here. In general, you can go through all the tightening the second time and tighten the thread. This is such a beautiful pumpkin I get. All we have to do is crochet the tail and sew it to the pumpkin. This is what my pumpkin looks like from all sides. It turned out to be a very wonderful toy. I already like it. I think I need to finish with these side tightenings. Now you need to look at your pumpkin and decide where the top and bottom will be. Find a neater side and let this be the bottom of the pumpkin. In my pumpkin, this side will be the top. From the top side, we pass the thread through the loop to tie a knot. This is how we simply tie a knot. Pumpkin tail will hide this knot. The tail will be sewn here and nothing will be visible. This will be the top in my pumpkin. I fasten the thread several times with the knot. The thread is securely fixed. Now the thread can be cut. This is how beautiful it turned out. On this side I will have a tail. This will be the underside of the pumpkin. Now I'll show you how we crochet a tail. For the tail we use brown yarn, hook number 4, 4 mm. We make a loop and 2 chain stitches, and in the first chain stitch we make 6 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From the second to the 5th row inclusive, 4 rows, we make 6 single crochets in each row. We simply make 1 single crochet in each stitch. 3, 4, 5, 6. The second row is done. After the second row, turn it right side out. In the third row we also make 6 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there are 2 more rows left to make 6 single crochets in each row. Here we hide the end of the thread inside. This is the third single crochet, 4, 5, 6, and the last 5th row, 6 single crochets, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 rows in the pumpkin tail are done. In the 6th row we make 6 increases. In each stitch there are 2 single crochets. The first increase, the second increase, the third increase, the fourth increase, the 5th increase, and the last 6th increase. If you want to make the pumpkin's tail longer, then you need to make a few more rows of 6 single crochets. and only after that start making increases. The next row is the last. In the 7th row we make 1 single crochet and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. At the end of the row there will be 18 single crochets. And 1 increase, this is 2, 3. 1 single crochet is 4, and 1 increase is 5, 6. 1 single crochet is 7, and 1 increase is 8, 9. 10, and 1 increase is 11, 12. 13 and 1 increase are 14, 15. 16 and 1 increase are 17, 18. We make a slip stitch in the next stitch and cut the thread. Pull and tighten the thread. Using a hook, we thread the thread to the inner side and hide it inside. Now, using a regular needle and thread, we need to sew this tail to the pumpkin. We sew it in this position, where the top of your pumpkin is. After this, the pumpkin will be ready. Sew with the regular needle and thread in a circle. I will now prepare a needle and thread and show you how to sew on a tail. Attach the tail in the right place. Let's start sewing. We sew as usual, nothing complicated. We alternately thread the needle through the pumpkin, then through the tail, and sew it on in a circle. It's very simple. The needle has been threaded into the pumpkin, now we thread it into the tail. This is how we sew the tail to the pumpkin in a circle until the end. After this, the pumpkin will be completely ready. I hope the meaning is clear. Nothing is complicated. You just need to carefully and beautifully sew on the tail. This is how I managed to sew the tail to the pumpkin. I bent the pumpkin's tail a little to the side for beauty. Our pumpkin is completely ready. On the underside, the pumpkin is very similar to a peeled tangerine. Cool pumpkin is ready. This is how it lies in the palm of my hand. If you like this video tutorial, be sure to like it. I will be very pleased. Of course, subscribe to my channel. In the video tab, you will find many interesting and simple masterclasses on crocheting toys. My masterclasses are very simple, and you can easily crochet beautiful plush toys, like this pumpkin. See you soon!